and a very good morning to Dr. Ehsan and my fellow friends. So today I'm going to present my individual assignment, which is the Multicultural and Multilinguism Critical Analysis. So the research paper that I chose is the Multicultural Education Practices in Malaysia Preschool with Multi-Ethnic or Mono-Ethnic Environment, written by Najimah Muhammad Yusof, Anna Christina Abdullah, and also Nurlida Ahmed. It was written in 2014. So as the first introduction is, in order to do a critical analysis of research, you have to look at and evaluate research study or paper in a thorough and organized way. It's more than just a summary of the research findings. It's a closer look at the study strengths and weaknesses, its method, data analysis, and its conclusion. In a critical analysis, the researcher looks at the study's plan, methods, and ways of getting data and giving it meaning. They check the accuracy and truth of the data and think about any biases or limits that might change the results of the study. The researcher also looks at how clear and logical the research question is, how well the theoretical framework or conceptual model fits the study, and how important the study findings are in the field as a whole. And through this critical analysis, it also includes figuring out how important the research is and what it adds to what we already know. It could involve comparing the study results to those of other similar studies and pointing out any gaps in the literature and making ideas for more research or changes. And the goal of a critical analysis is to evaluate the study in a fair and objective way, pointing out its strengths and weaknesses and giving an idea of its overall quality and credibility. This analysis will help researchers and readers to see the research study in a bigger picture and decide for themselves if it is accurate and useful. Moving on to the next slide, the summary. So the article chosen, it looks at whether Malaysian preschool use multicultural teaching methods in both multi-ethnic and single-ethnic settings. And to reach the goal of the study, the author used a quantitative method in which 200 preschools in North Malaysia fill out a self-report form. The study found that most preschool teachers in Malaysia understand the idea of international education or multicultural education, even though they were not trained in it. It was also found that there were more similarities than differences in how multicultural education was done in the different early childhood settings. The researcher also talked about the difficulties of implementing multicultural education, such as how to include experiences from different points of view, how to connect lessons to children's lives, and how to make classrooms that are fair for everyone. The researcher talked about how important it is to train and support teachers, have a good curriculum and tools, and have the support of parents, and also wrote about how multicultural education practices can help giving all children in Malaysia the same chances. So as for the strengths and weaknesses, I'm going to start with the research title, which is Multicultural Education Practices in Malaysian Preschool with Multi-Ethnic or Mono-Ethnic Environment. As you can see, the title focuses on multicultural education practices in Malaysian preschool with multi-ethnic or mono-ethnic environment. And the study aims to examine how multicultural education is implemented in preschools based on racial composition. So the title suggests a focus on methods, strategies, and activities for promoting understanding and appreciation of different cultures. The goal is to understand the impact of multi-ethnic and mono-ethnic settings on the implementation of multicultural education. The setting of the study is preschool in Malaysia, a diverse country with Malays, Chinese, Indians, and native populations. The importance of the study lies in creating inclusive learning environment that supports equality and diversity. The title lacks details about the study methodology, scope, and specific goals, and the absence of information on potential findings and implications. The full evaluation requires examining the entire research article or proposal, including introduction, literature review, methods, results, and discussion sections for a comprehensive understanding of the study design, theoretical framework, data analysis, and conclusions. As for the abstract, it does says about importance of dealing with ethnic variety and promoting multicultural education in Malaysian preschools. The recognition of the impact of a child's ethnicity on interaction and the need to prepare them for a diverse world. The study was conducted in 200 preschools in North Malaysia, examining multicultural education practices. It has the emphasis on the problem of diverse background in Malaysian schools and the goal of fostering unity. Consideration of multi-ethnic and single-ethnic setting and their influence on multicultural education practices. And the author also used surveys and quantitative analysis to gather systematic information on the prevalence and effectiveness of the practices. The lack of specific details on evaluation tools, result, preschool demographic and location, and thus the recommendation to broaden perspective by considering the experiences of students and parents, and the importance of improving understanding and implementation of multicultural education in Malaysian preschools. And as for the suggestion, states need to enhance the study by providing more information on methodology and findings for practical application. As for the introduction, the introduction highlights the presence of subculture shaped by factors such as age, race, ethnicity, and class, and emphasize the importance of multicultural education in both culturally diverse countries like Malaysia and a globally interconnected world, and recognize the need for early childhood education to teach respect for cultural differences, acknowledge the existence of subculture and the significance of cultural diversity, also discuss the importance of promoting respect, and lastly, focus on the significance of early childhood education in shaping attitudes and values towards different cultures. As for the weaknesses, lack of supporting evidence and references in making claims about the importance of multicultural education, limited scope as it primarily addresses cultural differences without considering other aspects of diversity like gender, language, and ability, lack of clear research goals and questions to be answered, making it difficult to understand the study's focus. Overall, the introduction recognizes the importance of multicultural education but can be strengthened with additional evidence, broader perspective, and clearer research objectives. As for the problem statement, I divided it into two categories, which are the strengths and weaknesses. The problem statement addressed the social separation between different racial groups in Malaysia schools and colleges, recognize the lack of communication and interaction between these groups, highlight the enrollment and segregation trends, discuss previous attempts to address the issue, emphasize the importance of teaching multicultural values. Positive aspect includes acknowledging the social divide and the significance of early childhood education, and it does mention the need for a systematic examination of current practices and policy suggestion. The lack of specific research objectives and research question in the problem statement, insufficient discussion of existing literature and studies on multicultural education, generalization of findings without providing supporting evidence or addressing potential challenges, suggestion to enhance the problem statement by including specific study goals, conducting a more comprehensive literature review, and acknowledging the complexities of implementing multicultural education. And overall, the problem statement addressed the social divide in Malaysia schools and recognized the importance of early childhood education, but it can be improved by incorporating specific research objectives, providing a stronger theoretical foundation, and acknowledging the challenges of implementing multicultural education. So as for the literature review challenges the belief that young children are completely unbiased and innocent by highlighting how bias and prejudice can form at a young age. It emphasized the importance of young children understanding and learning about other cultures. And the strength of the literature review also include questioning common assumption using data from various studies to support claims. As for the weaknesses, one of the weakness is the literature review include a limited focus on longitudinal changes in children's views on differences. And as for the suggestion, incorporating studies or ideas on intervention and promoting inclusion, including more current research to provide relevance and up-to-date analysis. And overall, the literature review challenges the notion of children innocence by demonstrating their early awareness of differences and the formation of opinions. As for the research objectives and question, for the strength, the research goal and question focus on understanding the implementation of multicultural education in preschool Malaysia. The strength include clear and detailed goals, enabling a systematic examination of multicultural education practices. And the last one is the goals and question facilitate comparative analysis, allowing for a better understanding of how multicultural education function and the challenges it faces in various situations. As for the weaknesses include a lack of depth and complexity in addressing the reasons, effects, and potential solutions related to identified problems. The scope of the research goals and question primarily focus on preschool, neglecting the perspective of other stakeholders such as parents, teachers, and lawmakers. So there is sure a need for clearer identification of research gaps and a justification of the study's unique contribution to the field. For the methodology chosen, the research technique is the study combines survey research and qualitative methods. And the data collection, a questionnaire will be used, completed by teachers, principals, and teachers, educators. Interviews and observation will also be conducted for in-depth qualitative information. As for the data analysis, descriptive statistic and the SPSS software package will be used to analyze the numeric data. And the sample size and representation, the questionnaire aims to obtain responses from 10% of the community with an expected return rate of 50%. Random stratified sampling will ensure representation of all types of preschools. And as for population sampling, it is using random stratified sampling. The research instrument and data gathering, the use of self-report questionnaire, and it will make it possible to collect data in standard way and easier to get information from a big number of participants. The use of random stratified sampling is a good way to make sure that all types of preschools are represented. And as for the data analysis, descriptive statistic will be used to look at the quantitative from self-report surveys. It's important to note that there are newer versions of SPSS and the researcher should consider using the most up-to-date version to analyze the data. As for the findings, teachers should implement multicultural practices regardless of the preschool ethnic composition. About 85% of teachers the study understood the international education or multicultural education. As referred to Banks 1994 highlights importance of respecting cultural strength while equipping children with the necessary skills and values. Teachers are seen as cultural mediators and change agents in promoting multiculturalism. Both monoethnic and multi-ethnic preschool teachers prioritize embracing diversity to build a common nation and destiny. Teachers need to aim to provide experiences that broaden children's perspective and prevent the formation of new stereotypes. Primary sources representing diverse voices are effective. The study shows positive efforts by teachers to teach about different cultures and foster welcoming environments. Future research should explore challenges and limitations in implementing multicultural practices and their impact on children's understanding of diversity. As for the summary and recommendation, educators have been taught to value certain perspectives. Negotiating and creating a comfortable environment is crucial. Educators should embrace their cultural identity and learn about the backgrounds and values of colleagues, students, and parents to promote cultural competence and inclusion. Education is not neutral and reflects societal biases, and the recommendation include an anti-racist and anti-sexist curriculum. So multicultural education aims to provide equal learning opportunity for students. Preschool teachers can shape children's ideas about democracy and influence their own lives. Multicultural education is an idea, a movement, and a process that exposes students to diverse cultures and societal groups. The passage emphasizes the importance of recognizing cultural perspective, challenging biases, and implementing multicultural education practices in preschool, and the continuation of efforts are needed to create inclusive learning environment that cater to the needs of all students. And as a conclusion, it's very important for me as an ESL teacher in a rural schools that it will influence teaching methods and promoting culturally sensitive classroom. Teachers need to understand students' cultural background and fostering respect for their diverse identities. Collaboration with teachers from different backgrounds will allow for idea sharing. Recognizing the student limitation reminds the teacher to approach challenges with empathy and initiatives. So the study methods aid in designing multicultural activities. Integrating multicultural education with the unique challenges of a rural school will provide positive learning experience that fosters appreciation for differences. And every student is made to feel important and give an equal chance to succeed in the ESL classroom and beyond. So that's all from me today. Thank you and have a very good day.